Hello YouTube, doing another wrestling video. It's been a little while since I've done one, so here goes. Doing another list. This is some of my favourite wrestlers that have been known to be very, very stiff. Now, the wrestling term for stiff is when they would actually, properly leave some impact. When a wrestler usually does a punch, he usually tries to minimise the impact so it's safer. But when a stiff wrestler would do it, he would full on whack you to make it look as real as possible. And it's most of the ones that are known for doing really stiff stuff are Japanese wrestling because of their style is a lot more hard hitting, a lot more involving the elbows and chops and kicks. And we're going to honour some. I've made a list of 10 that I can think of. I'm sure there's more, and I'm not putting them in any order. I'm just going to read out the ones, and I've not even numbered them. So let's get to it. When I think of one person when I think of stiff was Vader. He was known for being a big, fat, rough guy that would just beat the crap out of people in the ring. And I think there was there was several incidents in Japan where he really roughed up some people. He's had some very good encounters in Japan where he's, stiff people. Another person on the list, Kenta Kobashi. This man might have some of the hardest chops that I've ever seen in wrestling. I mean, they look like they would seriously hurt. And there's a video that I saw with him versus Kensuke Sasaki, where they basically spent 5 minutes of the match just chopping each other. And every one of them sounded like a wet towel whipping someone. That's how that sort of sound with each chop. And at the end of it, their chests were like beetroot red. Like, they were bruised all around the chest area. And you could literally, for each chop, you could see sweat just flying off them. And if you can find it, seriously, check it out. It actually manages to keep what seems to be really basic actually quite entertaining, because you're thinking, okay, who's going to win? Who's going to win this chop exchange? Who's going to be the one that falls over first? Who's going to be the one that's going to fall? Who's going to win? Who's going to win it? And they managed to keep, it interesting whilst doing a pretty basic wrestling chop. We got a couple guys from Big Japan that I think are quite stiff. Ryuji Ito and Takeshi Sasaki. Now, Takeshi Sasaki and Ryuji Ito, most of their stiff kicks usually involve having a light tube sort of put against their chest or their back and then just whacking them with a kick. But those kicks, even without any of that stuff, those kicks would hurt. Now, I know that Ryuji Ito, I believe, had a kickboxing background before he got into wrestling. So he did know how to, hurt someone with a kick. Another two people on the list that I can think of for being particularly stiff and hard-hitting were Necro Butcher and Brain Damage. Necro Butcher, when he punches someone, it looks like he could break someone's jaw. And he would usually do a thing where he would, take a chair, set up a chair here, set up a chair here, sit down on one of them, get his opponent to sit down on one of them, and he would then offer them to sort of go like this and say, punch me in the face to his opponent. His opponent would then punch him. He would then reply with a harder punch back. Now, he did one of these exchanges with Brain Damage, and both of them could not knock each other out because they were... And I think Brain Damage might hit a bit harder, Both guys hit hard, but I think Brain Damage might hit a bit harder, and he's a particularly hard-hitting guy. But apparently, from what I've heard, he's actually really nice in real life. But, you know, he could murder you in the ring if you wanted to. Speaking of murder, Chris Benoit. Sorry. He was known for being quite stiff in the ring. He was, yeah, I've seen like his chops were brutal. He would, you know, I think most of his stiff wrestling ability came from working in Japan quite a bit, particularly from New Japan. Another person is the late great Mitsuharu Misawa. He had some very stiff forearms and elbows, and I remember, like, if anyone he fought, like, you know, was sort of, you know, not taking him seriously in the ring, he would seriously hurt them. Got Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe, well, he's big dude, a lot like Vader. Big, large dude. Most people would think, oh, he's a big fat tub of lard, but when he gets in the ring, he will make you regret actually saying that. If you ever, you know, make fun of him because of his weight, he will probably make you regret it. And now it's for I think for the last one that I thought of was, the only female stiff wrestler I could think of was Aja Kong. And, like, if you've seen the spinning back fist she does, really hard hitting. I believe she had one match where she actually, I think, busted someone open within like the first few minutes of the match, simply due to, I think, like, simply due to punching her in the head several times. I'm sure there are more. I can think of loads of more, like Hardcore Holly. He is particularly known for stiffing people. A lot of people would say he takes liberties on, you know, younger guys, where he just wrestles stiff. He's a stiff wrestler. I don't think it's because he's a piece of shit. I do find his matches entertaining, and I do know that there are loads of people that hate his guts. But to be honest, a lot of his matches that I've seen, I've actually found quite entertaining, and he's quite underrated. And then there was that whole incident on Tough Enough where he beat the shit out of someone and gave him a black eye. Which, when you think about all the injuries in pro wrestling, a black eye is really nothing. There are a fair few stiff wrestlers. I've seen, like, you know, some particularly stiff shots in the ring. I believe Stan Hansen had a particularly stiff lariat, which, honestly, he's one of the few people that can use something as simple as like a clothesline and use it as an actual finisher, because he's this big, rugged dude that would just whack you around the face, and it was believable. So anyway, I'm done for now. See you again sometime. Bye.